FC Lorient have been promoted to Ligue, and I'm about to make survival basically impossible. I'm only allowed to sign African players. No French talent, no European depth, just raw potential from one of the most overlooked regions in football. Of course, we're going to be using scouting and incredible tactic, but every single move has to be better than the rest of the league. And well, not even just the league, because the goal is to win the Champions League with a full squad of African players. This is going to be a very tough challenge, but if we pull this off, it might just be one of my best rebuilds on FM24. And here we are with FC Lorient promoted to the top tier of French football, finishing down in third place, which I know isn't where they finished in real life. I believe they won the league and are going up to Ligue 1 as champions. But here in FM, I have just done the simulation and Lorient are now a top tier French side. But as you've seen from the intro, we're not going to be allowed to go and just scout out whatever players we want. We are locking this to doing a transfer window and really the whole rebuild with using possibly my favorite region to find hidden wonder kids. Yes, people, we are only allowed to sign players from Africa. Now, I have made a filter with basically every single African nation in there where they at least have to have partial nationality, and we're going to be only allowed to sign players from these regions, which is going to make this rebuild very different, very interesting, and very fun. So make sure you are smashing that like button because we're about to have a great time with FC Lorient. Now, I've just had to do that season on my own to get us to this point, and I thought, why not lock in some players which I'm looking forward to either making money off or seeing if we can get them to be top tier players. And number one is Basilani Fofana. We locked in a 16-year-old keeper who's got some decent potential and also from Guinea as well. So he's got French and Guinean nationality, so he'll be eligible for this rebuild. Any player in the world that has at least a partial nationality of Africa, we're going to be able to sign. Now, we're lucky enough to have a fantastic young centre-back here already in Nathaniel Adeji. He is a brilliant young centre-back. I've signed him many times when he used to play for Hammarby in Moneyball rebuilds, and well, now here he is with up at Lorient, and he looks absolutely brilliant. And finally, striker, 5-star potential, Samir Haribu. His information, he is part Mayotte. I actually have never heard of this nation before. From doing research, it is actually a region in East Africa. And this guy is part Mayotte, which is absolutely awesome. So we're also going to be able to use him in this rebuild. Now, the reason I say this is one of my favorite regions because no one ever looks there for their wonder kids. And I have found so many under 21 hidden regens from Africa, and hopefully we're going to find a bunch of them and turn this team into a powerhouse in this rebuild. And of course, the end goal is to eventually get a team from France to be champions of the Champions League. Now, of course, we're not going to be getting rid of everyone that doesn't have the African nationality from the start, but we might as well make a good go of it. So Laurent Abriguel, Yvonne Mavogo, Joel Mavuka, Mohamed Bamba, Theo Lebris, Julien Laporte, Serene Decore, Igor Silva have all left the club, and we've already raised over £16 million in player sales. And I've made 6 fantastic signings to get us underway, and number one is our starting goalkeeper, Maduka Okoye, signed from Udinese. This guy's got great area reach, jumping reach, and brilliant goalkeeping stats. He is a 3.5-star credibility player, and at 24 years of age, has lots of room to grow. Next up is the £2.8 million signing of Oral Mangala. This guy has played games in the Premier League for Forest or Everton, but also plays for Olympique Lyon. He originally has Belgian nationality. He's made 6 caps for them, but in his heritage, he has also got DR Congolese, so he is joining us for just £2.8 million. Next up is Algerian left-back Yanis Hamache. This guy looks absolutely fantastic, is one of the best attacking wing-backs we could find with 15 crossing and great pace. This guy's going to be a star for years to come. We then move on to a loan signing, which is very unlike me, but the opportunity to bring in Osame Saharawi from Lille was too good to turn down. And one thing you guys are going to have to just bear with me on is pronunciations. I'm not amazing at pronunciations. I don't claim to be the best at pronunciations, but if you guys notice that I say anything incredibly wrong, let me know in the comments down below. I'm always eager to learn how to pronounce the name properly, and I'm sure I've just absolutely butchered Osame Sahrawi's Moroccan name. I'm very sorry. He looks absolutely brilliant though, and I'm really excited to have him in this team. Hamzat Ojderian is my next signing, a Nigerian defence midfielder signed from RC Lens. He has been on loan in the second team at FC Martigues, and he looks absolutely brilliant. Great bravery, good physicals, good defensive stats, and really good passing stats as well. Cost us just £2.3 million and looks like a fantastic signing. And finally, just for £600,000, Paul Akuku comes in from Lyon, a really good rotational defence midfielder for us here at Lorient. And this is the team we are going with. And you can see we've got a very fun system in play as well. We are looking to attack and be very creative in our football. You can see the system, how it's effectively going to work. Kalulu is going to join basically as a fourth attacker. We're going to make a back three with Hamashe, Talibi and Traore, make a base duo of Makengo and Mangala in DM, and have Bamba Dieng, Punchao, Sahrawi and Tosin leading the line. Now we're going to go through the tactic, and you guys can go through and copy this tactic if you would like to. I'll also make it available to download on the Patreon along with the African scouting. I'll give you both of them for free with the video, just if you do want to download it nice and easy. I will put them on there so you can go ahead and do that. Now, there is some players in this team that we have not touched on yet, and they are absolutely fantastic. Number one, 23-year-old Angolan central attack midfielder Julian Ponsau. This guy looks really good. Fantastic technicals and mental stats. Great physicals as well. 5'7", is a playmaker and is already a good Ligue 1 player. He is going to be brilliant for us, I'm absolutely sure. As centre-back, we already have Tunisian centre-back Monsar Talibi. This guy also looks brilliant at 26 years of age. Another centre-back, Isaac Traore, is French, but in his information we can see it also has Ivorian nationality and looks brilliant as well with 20 jumping reach while being 6'8", so I'm sure he's going to come very much in handy in terms of scoring some goals. Makengo is a Congolese defensive midfielder already at the club. Same for Kalulu, a Congolese right back. Who can also play at centre back as well. We also have Aligan Tosin, who is a striker we are looking to use. He looks quite good, but someone we're going to need to upgrade as we go through this rebuild. And actually the reason we chose to do this African only challenge is because here at Lorient, there is a lot of African players already, and I thought it would be a really fun challenge to do with a newly promoted side. If you've got any ideas you want me to do this with in the future, whether it's Spain and potentially going to Elche and doing Asian or South American or North American players only, let me know in the comments down below. Some new video ideas as we head into the summer. If I could also say that over 70% of you are not subscribed to the channel, so do me a massive favor and smash that subscribe button and get us to 20k subs before FM26. Now, we wanted to bring some attacking flair to Ligue 1 this season and be a team that was really exciting to watch and a team that would score lots of goals. And believe it or not, in our first season here in Ligue 1, that is exactly what we brought to the table. This Lorient team had some fantastic players already in the side, and we just sprinkled in some of that extra flair. This is a simple game against Lille where we are at home, and my God, did we absolutely batter them. A great run there from Tosin, a great ball from Makengo to make it 3-0 in just 35 minutes. And in the 85th minute, we made it 4, and we battered one of the better teams here in Ligue 1. And while it may have only been in the French Cup, we also showed PSG that they were needing to look out for FC Lorient as we beat them 3-2 thanks to goals from Julian, Kalulu and Sahrawi. Now, sadly, after beating PSG in the 9th round, we got knocked out to Montpellier in the 10th round, which is absolutely ridiculous, but I'm still very proud that we beat PSG in our first time of asking. And well, as for our form in Ligue 1, things started great with that 4-0 win over Lille on the opening day of the season. We then lost 2-1 and then won 4-0 once again. And I was really excited for the year to come. And then we didn't win in 5 games, losing to Monaco, drawing to Caen, losing to Brest, losing to Reims, drawing to Lyon, and then beating Strasbourg by scoring 5, and then losing another couple of games. And overall, our form to kick off the start of the season was absolutely horrible until we got to the 7th of December, where it looks like we may have learned the tactic. We drew to Rennes, beat Nice, drew to Lille, drew to Monaco, beat Caen, drew to Brest and drew to Reims, and then beat Lyon, going on a 7-game unbeaten run. And I think we finally turned the corner. because the second half of the season was very good as well. And on 46 points, we've managed to secure 7th place in the league, which secures Europa Conference League football for our first time of asking. Now, this is a newly promoted side that finished 3rd in Ligue. Well, here we are in 7th place in our first season. So if that doesn't deserve a like, I'm not sure what will, because we have absolutely smashed it in our first time of asking here. In terms of goals scored, we wanted to bring some flair, and that's exactly what we've done, scoring 54. And we're also fantastic defensively as well, conceding just 45 this season. So the tactic that we have cooked up with these random positions moving everywhere, wing backs on attack, inverted fullbacks, etc., worked an absolute treat, and we have had a very good first season in Ligue 1. I'm not sure if we'll be able to do it next year, given we're going to have Conference League football as well. If we win that, it could be a ticket straight into the Europa League. I remember the goal of this rebuild is to win the Champions League, which I think is going to be very possible. Given the start we've had to this rebuild, I'm very confident this rebuild is not going to take maybe as long as I thought, because we've already built a very strong foundation, and there's already a very strong foundation here, and we just need to go and find them wonder kids to add to this side. Now, our top goal scorer this season was Aligan Tosin with 11 goals in 29 games in Ligue 1, which is decent, but it's a position I am certainly looking to improve next year. On the other hand, our highest performer, well, we had a bunch of players grab over a 7 average rating. Sambo Samawa was a backup striker who grabbed 7 goal contributions in 15 games. Mangala, a £1.8 million signing, came in, grabbed 4 assists, 2 goals, and an 7.09. Gideon Kalulu, a 7.08, 5 goals and 6 assists. And Julian, who is probably going to be the star of this rebuild, 9 goals, 6 assists. And if we can keep hold of him, he'll be outrageous. The only difficulty, he's wanted by Premier League clubs like Leeds already, and I wouldn't be surprised if at one point we got offers that were too good to turn down. Now, we do have an ace up our sleeve going into the next season, as last year I secured the £400,000 signing of Amara Diouf, one of the hottest African wonder kids in real life, playing for Generation Foot on FM. This guy's an absolute joke. 425k for a player that's just grabbed a 7.73 in Senegal. Now, of course, there is no actual league in Senegal here on FM. Regardless, them stats are fantastic. And if I know Amara Diouf, I know we're about to have a £100 million player on our hands in the next probably 2 seasons. Which is probably going to come in hand, because here at FC Lorient, finances are decent, but not unbelievable. If we could make a big sale in the next couple of seasons, we would very quickly be able to go out and get every single top talent that came out of Africa at a very decent price. If we can get a transfer budget of up to 50, 60 million pounds at some point, we're going to be able to absolutely dominate the African market. I don't think it's going to take long for us to get into a stage where we can be challenging for the Champions League. This season, we've got a £10 million transfer budget, but only 14k in terms of wage budget. And there's not a great deal of value in the squad. The most expensive player is Julian, who I'm not selling. Same goes for Taibi, not selling. And Makengo, who I am simply not selling. From that, it is all less than £10 million. And it's going to be very, very tough to raise a lot of funds from this squad. Now, first up, welcome Amara Diouf. Just look how fantastic this guy is. At 18 years of age, he cost us £400,000 and is already worth 61 million. This guy is going to be our absolute saviour. And past him, there was only 2 other signings. Number 1 is El Hadji Malik Diouf, coming in from Slavia Prague. He is a fantastic inverted fullback on defend, and if one day we need to move on to go wing back on attack, well, he can do that as well, with fantastic crossing, dribbling and pace stats, while being 6 foot and great defensive means he can be great in both roles. And if we do eventually need to progress into a more meta 4-2-3-1 with the wing backs, at just 20 years of age, this guy's going to progress with us and can do both roles. And finally, we've got a bit of a throwback. For £1.1 million, we've signed Ramadan Sobi. Now, this video is probably titled around only signing African wonder kids. Well, I'm also going to sign some players that aren't wonder kids, and you'll just have to deal with it. I'm sorry if I've clickbaited you in, Trust me though, we are keeping this as only African players. Ramadan Sobhi comes in for just £1.1 million, and to be honest, it was just way too good to not do. He has got unbelievable stats, flair, technique, great technicals, great physical stats as well. If we show this to show his report as well, rather than being double career stats, that's the fun of doing things on the Steam Deck as well. You can see consistency he is really good at as well. And stats-wise, at Pyramid, he has done brilliant for back-to-back seasons. So £1.1 million is an absolute bargain. This guy came through at Al Ali, moved to Stoke, moved to Huddersfield. Never really worked out for him in Europe. But now FC Lorient, we'll see if we can revive Ramadan Sobhi's career. And that was it in terms of our signings. We literally made them 3 signings. One from last season in Amarid Youth, Ramadan Sobhi coming in to replace the loanee we had last year, and El Hadji Diouf in that inverted fullback role makes up this team, and I'm a huge fan. I think we do need a new striker eventually, but there was no one there that really tickled my fancy and was a good enough value for us. We have mentioned financially we are not in a great situation. Even just with making 2 signings this summer, we are up to £3 million in the bank. And sending someone like Nathaniel Wadeji isn't even giving us mad money. 4.2 million, just not worth it. I do think financially, as we do get European football, Champions League football, etc., we will slowly get pretty rich. But for now, this is the side to take us into the Europa Conference League, a competition that famously I've said many times is the easiest competition to win on Football Manager. And well, that is until you face Aston Villa in the Conference League. And the worst thing is, this Aston Villa game was a qualifying game to make it to the Conference League. And I've got absolutely no idea what they are doing having to qualify for the Conference League. They're a side that on FM I've seen multiple times win the Premier League. Well, this time, they're qualifying, of course, at the same time as us, and we've got very, very unlucky. The only shining light of this game was that fantastic goal by Amarid Youth. Despite back at home winning the second leg 4-2, we lost 6-5 in aggregate and didn't even make it to the league phase of the easiest competition on FM. So my own words have come back to bite me. But it did mean we could concentrate on Ligue 1, and you can probably tell we were going to struggle using in Conference League football with Ligue 1, starting the season winless in the first 4, including getting battered by PSG 5-1. But as soon as we went out of the Conference League, our form started to turn around, beating Brest, drawing to Lille, losing to Montpellier, but then beating Caen, Toulouse, Nantes, and Lyon in a 3-game winning streak in October. In November, we lost just a 1 game, losing to Monaco, but beating Havre, Metz, and Nice. We drew to Rennes, beat Marseille, and in January lost the Reims and drew to RC Lens. But the second half of the season is really where we turned things around, with a winless run coming to an end, winning every single game in February, beating Strasbourg, Brest, Lille and Montpellier, going unbeaten in March while drawing against Toulouse, beating big sides like Lyon, and nearly went unbeaten in April as well. OGC Nice beating us 3-0, but putting 5 past Le Havre was a pretty good showing. We also went unbeaten in May, drawing to PSG on the final day of the season. Now, how well had that second half of the season form done for us? Could we get Champions League football in just season 2? Well, with the skin of our teeth, we have done it. 66 points, just a point away or a 20 goal difference away from second place Marseille, and just 10 points away from PSG at the top of the table. We beat Monaco by a singular point as well, securing Champions League football for FC Lorient. Well, I tell you what, this rebuild has gone much better than expected. Promotion to Ligue 1 instantly, Conference League, not quite football in season 1 really, and then Champions League in season 2. And that is not what I expected when I started off this rebuild. Now, this third place, if we go to the rules, does mean that we need a qualifying round. We go into the first round of the Champions League. So it's not going to be easy to actually get to the league phase, but I do believe we get guaranteed Europa League football this way. So that's at least a massive win, and will at least be in the Europa League, which is a competition. As a Man United fan, I would love to win. I'm saying that before the final. I've got no idea when this is coming out. Hopefully we've won the Europa League, and we've not. lost to Spurs, because that would be absolutely horrendous. Cue you guys watching this and meme me in the comments as we officially lose to Spurs. Player of the matches wise though, we had a player dominating, and that was Gideon Kalulu from this right back position. Now I was tempted to replace this guy when I come in because his stats don't look game breaking, but 7 goals, 10 assists, a 7.18 average rating. And he really has been a standout player for us. As was the signing of Amara Diouf, £400,000. He is here, and if you guys have never used Amara Diouf on FM, do yourself a favour, go and pick him up. He starts at Generation Foot in Senegal. I load about 70,000 players. I don't know how we need to load to get this guy to come up, but just do it and win because he's fantastic. He's unbelievable on both feet. He's 6'2" with 15 pace and acceleration, 13 finishing, 14 dribbling, 14 determination, 14 burst touch. He can play left wing, cam, or of course, because he's even footed, even right wing. And even as a striker, I might have to do like a test one day of making this guy a world-class striker, because this season in the league, 12 goals and 5 assists from that left inside forward position. And it's just absolutely brilliant. And given he's only 18 years of age as well, as I've said, this guy could be the ticket for us to get loads of money and then build a complete powerhouse of a team. But for now, he's just going to be our absolute superstar. As is Ramadan Sobi. The £1.1 million signing was a bargain. 10 goals, 14 assists in 34 games. Trust me, people, go out there and scout in Africa because you can find some unreal talent. I've literally got 2 scouting recruitment focuses set up. I've got one which is 15 to 28, which is looking for 2-star to 2.5-star players ongoing in Africa. And then I've got a 15 to 21, which is 1-star, 2.5 ongoing in Africa. I am literally just looking for talent in both of these. You can see you don't often find a lot. It's very difficult to find players. But if we go to our scouted players, I guarantee you 90% of these are all from Africa and will be absolutely fantastic. If we do this, saying that, there's actually not many on this list. We have Sam Morsey, who's Egyptian. Algeria, Baradine Bonani. I've been very tempted to sign this guy from Algeria. Just going to be way too much money for us to actually bring in. But you get the gist. It's a really good place to go and scout. And especially as you get further into the future, them like hidden wonder kids are just so easy to find. And you'll see that as we go through this rebuild. Again, financially, we haven't got a lot of money, just £10 million in the transfer budget. I did think we were going to have that, Conference League winning money by the end of this season, but sadly not. And we do get a big boost for finishing in 3rd, though. And it does look like we are about to come a pretty decent side if we can make a couple of back-to-back Champions League campaigns. If you guys can, just do me a massive favor and make sure you are smashing that like button and subscribing to the channel, because over 70% of you are not subscribed. So right now, hit that subscribe button. And we have found our first hidden wonder kid of the video, coming from Tanzania. It's Tansman Mwinyi, coming in from Simba, which is a club in Tanzania. We have spent £500,000 to bring him in, and he played for the second team a little bit. We signed him in January, I believe. But what an unbelievable signing. £500,000. Great bravery, teamwork, great determination. Pace needs improving, but technically unreal talent. 18 years of age, 500k. I would love to see this guy go on to be a starter for us, because even signing from Tanzania is something I've never done. And finding someone from the Tanzanian leagues really would show this is possible with pretty much any nationality. And my only other signing was the striker we needed to take this team to the next level. It is Vivaldo Semedo, currently showing as a Portuguese nationality, but also Angolan. So him and Julian are going to be our Angolan attacking stars. This guy's got 16 finishing, great pace, and 6'4". He is going to be outrageous on this game. He has actually played over at Watford in this save, at Viz in Portugal, and Udinese is where he is after coming through the Sporting Academy. For just £4.5 million, we have picked him up, and I think he will be the star of this attack. And that is the team. That is all we have done once again. We haven't gone crazy. If I'm not mistaken, we now have a full African side. We could have had that already last season, but just double checking, these are all African players in the starting 11, which is awesome. On the bench, I believe we are basically there, if not there as well. Someone that I wish had developed a little bit better is Isak Traore, because being 6'8" and 20 jumping reach, I would love this guy to break the match engine. Again, I might want to do like a fun test of making this guy a striker and just seeing how broken we can make him. But overall, we are doing very, very well. Of course, potentially Champions League football this season, and that is our first goal, qualifying for the league phase. Which after a 2-1 victory against Ajax away from home, I thought was all but guaranteed. How silly was I? After a red card from Yanis Hamache and an injury to El Hadji Malik Diouf, we ran out of left backs and eventually conceded the 93rd minute and lost to Ajax. So we're going straight into the Europa League, which is a big shame. But at least going into the league phase meant we had a chance. And well, we had a very good qualifying campaign, but narrowly missed out on the top 8 just about by a singular point to RB Leipzig and Sevilla, which means we've got to do it the hard way and go through the knockout playoff round, where we faced up against Club Bruges and absolutely bullied them. In the first leg, it was a 2-1 victory, and in this second leg, we played some beautiful, beautiful football to beat them 3-0 and secure ourselves a place in the round of 16. Where we then played Fiorentina and drew 2-2 in the first leg. So in the second leg, we needed a miracle or just an absolute superstar to work with. And that is what we've got in our central attacking midfield position. Julian Ponsau is incredible. He leveled the game up here in the 51st minute, and in the 85th minute became a Lorient hero as he sends us to the quarterfinals with a brace here in Fiorentina. But we then faced French side Nice, beat them 2-1 in the first leg, and in the second leg beat them 1-0. So we head to the semi-finals. A 4-4 draw against Eintracht Frankfurt means away from home we have to come away with the victory. And it was a first half demolition derby. The early goal coming from Semedo for Sealer whips it in once again for Semedo to poke it home for 2-0. And a third coming as well as he gets on the ball, links up the play out wide of Yanis Hamache, whips it in, and at the back stick, Ramadan Sobhi scores to make it 3-0. The last goal did come to Eintracht Frankfurt from the corner, but we were moving on to the final. We'll be facing English giants Newcastle. And we got off to the perfect start with a Sobhi penalty in 29 minutes, but quickly conceded with Coppola scoring from the corner, Tonali whipping it in to the back stick, and eventually Coppola knocking it home. And the game went all the way to extra time from there. And it was a guy that I've tried to sell a few times in this rebuild. Tosin proves me wrong. Batters it past Guilherme Restes, and FC Lorient, with a full team from Africa, have become European champions, winning the Europa League, which is effectively phase 2 of this rebuild. Ligue promotion, Europa League winners. Now we need to move on to Champions League winners. But what a massive dub that is. And you can see here from the stats, we absolutely dominated them. 54% possession, 3.92 XG, and 24 shots to their 9. So we really have built a bit of a powerhouse. And we're very similar to my club, Manchester United. We sacked off the league because it's not important. We always look to win trophies, and the Europa League is what we've won at this time, meaning we get Champions League qualification after finishing down in 10th place. A pretty unbelievable season, to be honest, and I am just over the moon. We have finally got Champions League football. Semedo grabbed 20 goals, Diouf grabbed 15, Hamache grabbed 10 and 4, Tosin grabbed 10 and 4, Sabi 10 and 7, 8 and 11 for Pontiao, and 6 and 17 for Gideon Kalulu. Really performing at an extremely high level. Financially, we are up to £43.5 million in the bank, and we finally have big money to spend. So it's time to go out there and really now put ourselves as the biggest place for African talent to come to try and win the Champions League. The only issue we've potentially got is this man. Amara Diouf is transfer listed by request, but he has got a value of £97 million. And if we get anywhere close to that, we're going to have to take it. And well, thank you for your service, Amara Diouf. Go on and be great at Bayern Munich. We did only get £40 million for him, which feels a little bit painful. But the transfer bid came in from Bayern Munich. We rejected it at £30 million. He was absolutely livid. And I decided, you know what? Let's move on. Let's sell Diouf for £40 million and see if we can do this without the star wonder kid from Senegal. So it's time to replace him and spend that money, and that is exactly what we've done. Bringing in another Angolan star. This time is Zito Luvumbo, who in my opinion is probably better than Amara Diouf right now in the game. Great dribbling and pace, 5'7", and was one of my favourite players to sign at the start of this FM. Next up was South African central attacking midfielder coming in for £450,000, Lialolonio Lishaba. Again, apologies for the pronunciations. This guy is brilliant and is going to come in, go back on loan to Supersport, and hopefully just develop into a top talent eventually. And then we signed Rayan Cherki for £6 million from Olympique Lyon. And I know what you guys are thinking. This guy's French. He's actually got Algerian nationality, which is absolutely awesome. So Rayan Cherki comes into the club and he's eligible for the rebuild. And I was never saying no to one of the hottest prospects in world football right now. His stats on FM aren't fantastic, and it's my job to make him a star. Kazim Eze was my next hidden regen, a Nigerian striker coming in from Valência in Portugal. £950,000 for a 6 foot, 17 strength, 16 heading striker with great pace. That sounds brilliant. Fode Sila was up next, another star pinched from Lyon. He has cost us £7.5 million. French and Guinean nationality. And this guy's hardly played in this rebuild, which is a real surprise to me because he is fantastic. And I think he'll be one of the best midfielders we could possibly get. We aren't done there. We have spent serious money. Another £12 million spent on Steve Ndongo coming in from Angers. He is a French centre-back with Cameroonian nationality, £12 million, 19 years of age, and a proper top-tier talent with 16 pace at centre-back. Moving on to Nathaniel Mbuku, who could be the winger to fix our Amara Diouf spot. Of course, we've also got Zito Luvumbo as well. I don't know what's going to go on. This team has just got so much better in one simple summer, and Nathaniel comes in the wing spots. Again, French nationality with DR Congolese as his other nationality, and this guy just looks brilliant. And finally, we have signed Tolawolase Arakadare, who is one of my favourite players in real life at the moment. His data stats are simply incredible, and I'm a huge fan of this guy. He's got like 20 goals for Genk in real life in the Belgian Pro League. He is 6'6", 17 strength, 18 jumping reach, and is going to be a great rotational striker for us. Now, this team has changed a hell of a lot in just one summer. We knew that would happen when we got the big money sale of Amara Diouf, but maybe not quite this much. Okoye stays in goal. Kalulu right wing back, Diouf left wing back. We have gone to the wing backs on attack. Talibi and Ndongo make up our centre back partnership with Makengo and Sila in DM. And in attack, it's Luvumbo, Ponchao, Mbuku and Semedo. On the bench, we have now got a young goalkeeper, Etienne, come through the academy. Sila, Traore, Adeji, Hamash, Mangala, Ojdirian, Mwinyi, Cherki, Sobi and Arakadare. Our attacking options are unreal, and defensively, we're so strong. I do think in this rebuild, as much as I don't really care if we do it or not, it's not part of the challenge, we could become French champions, which would be a massive feat and much harder, to be honest, than winning the Champions League, because overtaking PSG over a whole season is basically impossible. As you can see, because even while getting 4th place is fantastic, and probably I'm overlooking how well of a season we have just done while losing our star player. PSG have lost 1 game all season, got a 70 goal difference and 85 points, and they've not even spent that much money. I mean, I say that. This guy's at PSG. How much did they spend on him then? £256 million on Jude Bellingham. I take it all back. We're never winning Ligue 1. PSG have got Jude Bellingham. I mean, let's look at the rest of their team because that is incredible. This is what we are fighting up. Oh my God. Wow. Yeah. Wow. Bellingham isn't even in this team. Front three of Savinho, Barcola, Dembele, Zaire-Emery, Valverde, Vitinha, Hakimi, Marquinhos, Diamande, Hernandez, Donnarumma. They've got Nuno Mendes, Jude Bellingham, Ramos, Milinkovic-Savic, Gusto, Dolberg, Neves, and João Rigo on the bench. Kvaratskhelia, Skriniar, Doué, Naipan, Barao. Yeah, we're never winning Ligue 1. And it's a good thing that I do not care about it at all because we're here to win the Champions League, which is, of course, going to be very, very tough at the first time of asking. And I was actually very happy with our league phase finish down in 17th place. 8 games, 4 victories against Real San Sebastian, Braga, Liverpool and Shakhtar, but losing to Benfica, Real Madrid and Celtic while drawing to RB Leipzig is probably a very good sort of look at where we are as a club. So in the knockout playoff round, it was Leverkusen, and we beat them 1-0 in the first leg thanks to a penalty from Kalulu. And in the second leg away from home, we held them to a 2-2 draw thanks to goals from Rayan Cherki and Ponsau, meaning we are going in to the round of 16, where we'll be facing up against Manchester United, and we get off to an electric start. Just 2 minutes in to this game, Vivaldo Semedo poking home to make it 1-0, but United were a top-tier side. Bruno Fernandes finds Amad Diallo, who finds Marcus Rashford still at United, making it 1-1 in 36 minutes. Before a second came for United, De Ligt found João Henrique, a ball out to Rashford, a ball into the box, and Jay-Z was there to make it 2-1. But we did level this game up. Zito Luvumbo down the right-hand side, beats his man, spins around, cuts it back. Rayan Cherki, a magical talent, scores to make it 2-2. But United have the last laugh here at Lorient with a 3-2 victory. The final goal coming from Bruno Fernandes. And in the second leg at the Theatre of Dreams, you simply can't be getting a red card. And sadly, that is exactly what happened to El Hadji Malik Diouf, getting sent off in the 53rd minute. And from there, we crumbled and eventually lost to United in the round of 16. Now, this season was a big season of change, and I was very impressed at some of the players we signed. Rayan Cherki for £6 million, 17 goals, 6 assists, Luvumbo 12 and 11. But there is a distinct lack of goals in this side. Mbuku scoring 9 and 10, showing that our cams are doing better than our striker of Vivaldo Semedo. So maybe we need to try and find a super striker. Bode Sila doing great in that DM role. Overall, our best players were Cherki, Luvumbo, Ramadan Sobi once again, Malik Diouf and Julian Ponsau. But maybe we just need to improve our striking position a tad, and then we might become pretty much unstoppable. But transfers-wise, we spent a lot last year, so we only have £14 million to spend. So we had to find some more hidden talent. Number 1 was Michael Archibong, coming in from Remo Stars, a Nigerian left-wing / striker. That would be a great rotation for us. And then possibly our starting striker is Amadou Danfa, who looks about 90 with a receding hairline. He's just 18. For some reason, they give an 18-year-old this horrendous barnet. Poor guy. He's 18 years of age. I've signed him from Atalanta, and he's a very tricky, small, young winger. Remind me of someone. Amad Diallo, also coming through at Atalanta after coming over from Africa, and looks very similar. Fantastic dribbling, fantastic pace, low centre of gravity, great balance, good determination. Hopefully, we get a very similar story. Next up was a backup goalkeeper in Gavin Bazunu, coming in from Sheffield United. He actually has Nigerian nationality as well as Irish, so he comes in here. And then a Swedish right back, Joe Mendes, who looks absolutely fantastic, but of course also has Angolan and Congolese nationality, hence why we have brought him in this rebuild. Very, very well-rounded, and I think he could be a very good player for us. Another hidden star, it's Maduzi Matley, coming in from Sundowns in South Africa, and he looks very well-rounded, signing for just 245k. Abulai Cabral is my next, a Bissau Guinean striker / right winger, coming in from Valenciennes in Portugal. Very quick, 6'2", great determination and brilliant. Adam Asnu then coming in on loan from Atletico Madrid. I wanted to sign him permanently, but I ran out of money. This guy has Moroccan and Spanish nationality and is absolutely brilliant on FM. And I sort of thought we needed a wing back on attack. Hadji Diouf had a lot more developed into that inverted fullback as his early age career was there. So we now need to try and find a complete wingback. And finally, Samuel Suarez, our starting goalkeeper, coming in from Benfica, 6'3", great natural reach, aerial reach, and kicking. And he looks absolutely brilliant. Portuguese with Bissau Guinean nationality as well, signing of just £8 million. And this is our team going into season 6. And I do think it's going to be good enough. I think Suarez in goal, João Mendes, Ndogo, Talibi, and Ganoush, who was actually another free agent signing we've not touched on. He come in for free from Austria Vienna, actually, 3.5-star Austrian, from Austria, has French and Algerian nationality, Hakim Ganoush, and looks really, really good. Potentially, I do think, though, it will be Adam Asnou starting in that left-back role. Makengo and Sila in DM is brilliant. Luvumbo, Mbuku, Shirky, and Semedo up front for us. Our attacking options, though, I think Danfa will get a lot of games up there, and then I think we could potentially see Luvumbo play up there. We have seen that in this rebuild last season. He played lots of games up front, which would enable someone like Mwinyi, who played a few games last season, to come into that right wing spot and really thrive for us, or even someone like Archibong and Mbuku goes out to that side. We have a lot of rotation in that attacking forward line, and I think our team is very, very strong. So I'm excited for the 5th season in this rebuild. And we had reason to be excited as well, because we have had our best season yet, grabbing 71 points, losing just 5 games, grabbing 21 wins, and having the second top goal scorer in the league. Vivaldo Semedo this season really stepped up with 31 goals, and he's kind of come into his element in this year, so for the future he's going to be brilliant to have. And in the Champions League, we were the surprise package, getting into the top 8 on 18 points, 6 victories against Bayern, Porto, United, Celtic, Real Castania and Leverkusen, losing to Valencia and Galatasaray. So Lorient are going straight into the round of 16. Well, we drew Manchester United once again and were looking to get our revenge. In leg 1, it was a 1-1 draw at Old Trafford, showing we had definitely improved on last year. So when we came back home, there was no doubt in my mind we were going to absolutely batter them. Asnou and Shirky linking up fantastically well before an early goal. I've got no idea how Shirky we picked up for just £6 million. It's quite unbelievable he hasn't progressed until he signed for us. Semedo with the header at the front post, making it 2-0. And we grabbed a third to kill off the tie with Zito and Luvumbo. We'll be facing up against PSG, a team which we have proved we can battle against. With this 2-2 draw in Ligue 1 and comparable on stats at the Parc des Princes, I wasn't overwhelmed with the tie. And the first leg was a 1-0 victory thanks to hidden regen superstar Michael Archibong, who spins his man and found the top corner. Again, showing you can find bargains wherever you look, with a 1-0 victory in a quarter-final of the Champions League, where he'd also managed to secure us a semi-final spot, as the second leg was a 0-0 draw, and Samuel Suarez grabbing man of the match despite not being battered and us actually having a 2.17 XG to their 0.91. We had worked out an absolute dream to get to the semi-finals of the Champions League. Well, we were given quite a nice tie, to be honest, facing AC Milan, and it was a 1-0 victory at home once again, showing we're just so difficult to break down in our home stadium. Quite a lucky goal eventually going in of Zito Luvumbo, but we'll take that, go into the San Siro. Well, we grabbed the early goal from the spot with Vivaldo Semedo to give us a 2-goal gap. But maybe I've underestimated AC Milan. Samuel Riki lets the ball go through and the American dream Pulisic scores to make it 2-1. And they eventually scored to make it 2-2 as well. Theo Hernandez finding Rafael on his left foot, cuts in Brahim Diaz. A wonderful, wonderful strike. But this team just never knew when it was finished. Archie Bong, the £700,000 man, found Nathaniel Adeji at the back stick. And we won the tie as well, as Archie Bong finds Lechaba to cut it in for Diouf to find Mboku for a 3-2 victory. And we win in both ties against AC Milan and set up a final against Manchester City. Probably one of the only sides we don't want to face. And what's the worst thing you could do in a final against City? Score an own goal in 26 seconds, which isn't ideal. So, yeah. We also then go 2-0 down, a backstick cross, and Pino scores to make it 2-0 in the 65th minute and go 3-0 down. And we're effectively out of the game. Yuri Pino finds Mateus Nunez to find Kefran Turan for 3-0. But this side, as we found out, just doesn't know when to give up. And in the 81st minute, we scored a goal back. Sila does find Luvumbo, gets it into the back of the net with a left-footed shot into the top corner. We then win the ball back in the 89th minute. Luvumbo, ball up to Semedo. Great touch. Beats his man and fires home for 3-2. City on the ropes. And a penalty in the 93rd minute. Slotted home by free agent signing Ganoush. Sends the game to extra time. And we had all the momentum. Oral Mangala finds Lichaba to find Zito Lubumbo for a 4-3 winning goal. And FC Lorient have just come back from a 3-goal deficit in the final of the Champions League against Manchester City. And we win the Champions League. And we have done it with this team, built only of African superstars and wonder kids that have come up through the game. What a story, and what a rebuild this has been. If you have got to this point, make sure you're smacking that like button and get in the comments down below and let me know what challenge you want me to do next with a newly promoted side. This team has proved we can do it with anything. So give me your hardest challenges and I'll give them a go. Just to touch on this season, some of the absolute superstars we had. Obviously Tomato, Luvumbo, Mbuku, Shirky, but then the regens coming through. Lichaba 5-5, Archimbong 4-1, Danfa 3-2. Who else we got down here in terms of regens? Have we got anyone? Matt Lee played 3 games. Winnie played 1 as well. They're all sort of the hidden wonder kids. But then other players in here like Rayan Shirky with 17 assists, a £6 million signing. What a rebuild this has been. FC Lorient are champions of the Champions League, champions of Europe, and it was all done while signing only African players. Thanks for watching. I'll speak to you next time.